I was very shy growing up, and I had a real hard time speaking, you know, in class and raising my hand and speaking in front of people. It was horrible. I just never thought I'd be a performer. And then when I was in high school, my music teacher used to say I had a wonderful voice, and he pushed me into auditioning for this musical, and I got the lead, and it was there all of a sudden. I felt so comfortable, and I felt so natural, and I felt this was my way, you know, to express all this stuff I had held in. And I found out I had this big voice that I didn't quite know what to do with. With an album, you know, I mean, you start choosing songs months and months and months. I mean, you're always looking for material, and it's really, you go through hundreds and hundreds of songs trying to find the right ones, and you narrow it down finally, you know, to 20, and then to 15, and then to 10. But I have writers writing for me, and I work with them, or sometimes you find a song that, like Cry Wolf was a song written by an unknown writer, and just happened to be a great song, great writer.
What do you look for in a song?
Emotion. I look for something that emotionally I can really sink my teeth into, and also vocally. And I keep saying to myself, I'm not going to do it on the next album, you know, challenge myself vocally to the point where it's, you know, like Power of Love is it's such a rangy song. We did a modulation in it, so the vocal range is even broader. But I'm so tempted to do it each time because it's the only way to really, you know, let everything out, is to keep going and going and going. I look for a song that will touch people's hearts.
Of all the songs you've done, which is your favorite?
That's hard to say. It's like saying which child is the favorite. I think, How Am I Supposed to Live Without You? And Solitaire. You know, Solitaire was a real switch. That, you know, Gloria came first, and then Solitaire was a real switch from that, and vocally it's a thrill to sing. I think also Power of Love. And this Cry Wolf, for me, is it's a very painful song. You know, it's important. I think a lot of people have felt that emotion. Record Guide has 50 of my albums to give away. To get your free album, send your cards or letters to the Record Guide giveaway, Laura Branigan, P.O. Box 4007, Cherry Hill, New Jersey, 08034. But be sure to include the call letters of the station you're watching. And remember, one album per household. This album was produced by David Kirschenbaum. And it's the first album I didn't do with my other producer, Jack White. And for me, it's really very much me in the way that I was involved in the production and the arrangements and the choosing of the songs. And I think it's different from my other albums. I think, I don't know, I'm very excited about it. I think it's more emotional. Self-Control was directed by Billy Friedkin. And Billy directed the movie Cruising, French Connection, The Exorcist, Boys in the Band. He's just a great director with this bizarre view on life. And we wrote the concept together. And what I didn't realize that it was going to come out quite the way it did. But you know, you can't, when you're being shot, you don't realize what the director's actually seen. So from now on, I look through the camera. But I was really happy with it, and it was a great experience working with a director like that. I mean, he's a real full-fledged director, and he's just wonderful. It was a great experience.
Do you think his movies and the way he does things had an effect on your video?
Definitely. Definitely. No, but it was, you know, what we did was, I told him about this experience I had. I was waiting on the street once for a bus, and I was just getting going, you know, trying to make a living, I was doing this little voiceover, and it was one of my first jobs. And this pimp came by and picked me up. And I didn't know he was a pimp. I thought he was just someone going to give me a ride and everything. And he had this long Cadillac with all the leopard inside. And he took me to this club way up, God knows where, you know, way up. And down this long alleyway and in the store. And it was like this club with these pictures, fluorescent pictures of positions all over the wall, of sexual positions. So this is where we got the concept of the masked man bringing me into the club, you know, that club when I'm going down the stairs with all those. So a real life story. It's time for Record Guide Track Facts. Track Facts.
What famous rocker wrote Protection for Donna Summer in 1982? Stay tuned and find out.
Track Fact.
The one and only Bruce Springsteen wrote Protection for Donna Summer in 1982.
I'm going to Australia first, in fact really soon, and I'll be there about a month touring, and then I come back and do the States. In fact, when I'm in Australia, my movie's opening up. It's called Backstage.